The last important point which has to be taken care of in the criminal justice system is a fair trial. Now, what is a fair trial? Let's take the case of that helper who was accused by the owners that she had robbed the gold chain, and a charge sheet also was filed. Now, what if the lady wouldn't get a lawyer? What if the lady wouldn't be given a copy of the charge sheet? What if the witnesses, whatever she was accused of and who was the witness, all this data was not given to her? What if the trial in the court took place in her absence? Then she would never ever get justice. She would never ever get justice. So a fair trial, to see to it that the justice takes place, has points of criteria to be noted. Firstly, the trial should take place in an open court. That means access of people should be there. The people should be able to access to that court. They should be present over there. The lawyers, both the defense and the public prosecutor, both should be there. The witnesses, the judges, the judge, everybody should be present in the court. You cannot hide in one room and then conduct the trial. It should be an open court. In an open court. Second, the accused should be present while the trial is going on. You cannot put the accused in the jail and then say your trial is going on in the court in your absence. No. The accused has to be present in the court while the trial is going on. Next, she should or he should have, the accused should have a lawyer to defend himself or herself. Now, if the lawyer is not there, we had seen in her case as well, the government provided a lawyer. Article 21 says about the right to life, and it is the law's responsibility to safeguard this particular fundamental right of an individual. So, if somebody doesn't have the capacity, it's not in the capacity of the accused to go and hire a lawyer, the state will provide her the accused a lawyer. So, she should be or he should be defended by a lawyer, as happened in the helper's case, the maidservant's case. She was given a lawyer by the court. Now, the defense lawyer, as well as the public prosecutor, I would say both, should be given a fair chance of cross-examining each other's witnesses. They can cross-examine the witness, the facts, the evidences which have been produced, prove them to be wrong. If they think they are wrong, they have to produce a counter-witness to say that this particular thing is wrong. So cross-examination is a must in a fair trial. Cross-examine means you get a chance to question the other group over there as to why, what, where and how and when. Any sort of question can be produced to prove, if you have a point to prove that they are wrong. Next, if somebody has been accused of a crime, we do not tell that they are guilty until and unless the court has passed a verdict saying that they are guilty. So till the crime is proven in the court, we cannot call them or we cannot tell them that they are guilty. Like in the present day scenario, you must be seeing Sushant Singh's case going on and on and on, being discussed in the media over there. And on the news channels everywhere you see Riya Chakravarti is this, Riya Chakravarti is that. They have already convicted her to be the guilty over there. That is not the way court sees the matter. When the charge sheet will be filed, when the case will be fought, and then the judge will tell whether she is guilty or not. Until then, in front of the law or in the court, she is innocent. So until unless her crime is proven, till then the accused will be considered as innocent. Next, the judgment should be given on the basis of the evidences which have been produced in the court. The witnesses, the facts, the evidences which have been given in the court. Only on the basis of that the judgment would be given. If any major witness or this thing event has been negated from the list or has been put aside and not given that much of due importance, then it would be a huge error or lapse in the procedure of law. So it has to be seen that whatever sentence is given to the punishment is given to the accused, it has to be under the jurisdiction of law, and it has to be on the basis of evidences which are acting against that person. Without evidence, you cannot call an accused the guilty. Okay. Now, in the prior case, if we have seen, the lady who was accused of robbing a gold chain was very poor, minimal means capacity, doesn't have any money to go and fight a case also. So, will this kind of disparity affect the judge, that she is poor and needy, so she's only the criminal over here? So that kind of thought process the judges should be free from. They shouldn't discriminate on any basis, may it be caste, color, creed, religion, doesn't matter at all for them. Everything that matters is only under the jurisdiction of law, what and how and things are happening over there. So discrimination, having a predefined notion in your mind that this person belongs to this particular community or this particular caste or this particular creed or this particular economical stature, doesn't affect anything at all. In the court, law of court, nothing affects except for two human beings fighting for their rights. One says my right has been hampered by the other one, and the other one has a defense lawyer to protect himself or herself, to at least give a fair chance to fight, to prove that she is not or he is not guilty over there. So any sort of discrimination in a constitution is not allowed in the front of the judges. The judges are not allowed to have any kind of notion, predetermined notion in his mind that this person only might be the guilty. The accused not even thinking twice about it. And if in case, even if a beggar is fighting against Bill Gates over there, still they will be same human beings, no discrimination on the basis of their economical stature also. So if all these things are taken into consideration, then what we have in front of us is a fair trial. And a fair trial, whosoever gets in a court that chance to fight back, definitely we feel justice takes place. Most of the time, because of lack of evidences and witnesses turning hostile, certain cases are lost. Justice is not done, but they have to abide. Many times even the judges feel, yes, this person is not guilty, but because of lack of evidences and witnesses, they have to pass the verdict even if it is wrong, but still they abide by the law. So it's a fair trial. All these things, parameters come into consideration. With this we have come to the end of the chapter. Read the chapter thoroughly. I know it is not in your portion of term 1, but when you finish off with the term 1, read the chapter thoroughly. I will be sending you the notes later. Not now, you concentrate on your term 1 portion. Thank you.